Okay, welcome everybody. Thank you for coming to our Remarkable tutorial training. I had the awesome experience of connecting with Heather Kreiger, and a couple people had pointed me her way when I just kind of accidentally sort of heard about somebody mentioning in one of the large group mashups that this was one of their favorite kind of tools to use for keeping organized. And I had barely heard about it, but I went and Googled it and looked for it and like, oh, that's pretty cool. So I bought it with really no plan of, which I'm a budget queen and that's kind of not my usual MO to buy things sort of impulsively, but I've had it probably a month or 6 weeks, and it's really already made a huge difference in my business and trying to keep track of things. So I met with Heather and found there's way more I could do with it. And she was willing to tell me. And I said, well, can we just open it up to other people? So I'm glad that you guys are here and kind of getting the benefit of that. And Heather doesn't have to spend 22 hours telling people the same thing. So thank you, Heather, for being willing to kind of share with our community about this tool that you know way more about than I do. So I'm going to, kind of moderate and turn it over to you. If you guys want to make sure that your view is more on like the gallery or the speaker view, you'll be able to see more about what Heather is showing us. So I'm going to switch mine over now. But if you need anything, just unmute yourself or use the little digital hand or something like that, the little reaction hand if you don't want to interrupt. And I'll try to watch if there's questions or things going on in here that I can stop Heather periodically. So Heather, I'm going to, let's see. I think if I spotlight you and then you're gonna screen share, and you can introduce yourself, tell us about you and kind of what your story is as part of your presentation.
Sure. Let me see if I can get my presentation up here. So, all right, can everybody see that?
That works. Now just put it on show over on the PowerPoint, 2 buttons over, so we just see your, unless you need your notes. I don't know if
I don't need my notes. Actually, I was hoping that, sorry.
So on the bottom, right by the slider, put it on the little computer one.
On the computer, oh my gosh, right here? Oh my gosh, no?
Yep.
What?
Yep, just give it a sec.
Okay.
Like that, and make it big.
So apparently I'm not great with technology, but I am good with technology at the same time.
Yeah, try that one more time.
Okay, hold on one second. Let me try something once here. So I was trying to actually share it.
It was on the full screen. I don't know what you did earlier.
Okay. How about now? Can you see now?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, so let's go. All right, thanks everybody for joining us. I'm really excited to be here. We're gonna kind of go through this and hopefully be able to give you a demonstration at the same time as being able to go through this PowerPoint that we put together, just to kind of give you a quick introduction to the ReMarkable tablet. So a little bit, okay, now if I can switch screens, that would be wonderful too. My PowerPoint is not working very good. All right, sorry guys. I will get this yet. I don't know what's going on.
That big a deal if you want to.
I'm just going to go from here. So, yeah. Okay, so a little bit about me and why I am here talking to you all today. So my name is Heather Kreiger. Some of you I have met, some of you I know because you're either in the Lancaster chapter with me or you're neighboring, Dot sisters. But I am out of the Lancaster, Pennsylvania chapter. And just to kind of give you a little bit of background information on me and how I got started with my ReMarkable tablet. So last year about this time, I had a meeting with one of our Dot sisters here in Lancaster, who shared with me about this really awesome tool that she started using called the ReMarkable. And I had no idea what it was, but when she started explaining it to me, I looked up their website, fell completely in love with their marketing. They do a heck of a job on their marketing. And I kind of went from there. So for anybody who does not know me, in my full-time real life, I am a commercial real estate agent. So for me, I had 2 offices, a home office, I work out of my car, and everywhere else in between. So I had separate notebooks in every single office. I had notebooks in my car. I had notebooks in my purse. I'm also an avid journaler, so I have journals everywhere. And I don't know about everybody else, but during this time of COVID and working from home, I don't have a ton of space here. So having all of this paper and notebooks just was not working for me. So I bought the ReMarkable one. I got it in the mail, and within about 2 hours, fell completely head over heels in love with it. I think I even told my husband that this thing was like the love of my life, and he got a little jealous, but we worked it out, so it's all good. But it was only about, I don't know, maybe about 2 weeks into it, started to realize that there were still some shortcomings of the actual software. Some of the things that were already on, some of the things that were downloaded into the ReMarkable and how it was being used, that I still couldn't get over. Like, I take a lot of notes on phone calls and meetings, and I was still losing all of my notes like I would have in a regular notebook. And so I started to create my own templates, and I learned how to create my own templates. I learned how to download them into the ReMarkable and actually use them. And since I started doing that, I've actually customized my ReMarkable to be able to work for my business. And so I have come to really love this piece of machinery. It's literally become my most favorite tool for business. And then out of that, I actually created my own little side hustle called the Template Creation Shop, which is a shop that I have on Etsy, and I sell the digital templates the custom templates that I have made for my ReMarkable to other people. So that's a little bit about me. I also want to let you all know, just because I feel like I have to tell you this, I'm not affiliated with ReMarkable. I'm not on their payroll. They don't know that I'm doing this. They didn't approve this, but this is literally me just sharing the information I have and how I've used it, and how some of my customers from the Template Creation Shop have used it. So I just wanted to put that out there. I don't work for ReMarkable. They probably don't even know me, but anyway, so that's there. So moving on, kind of give you a little bit of information about what we're going to talk about today. So through our little survey that we did for our Facebook group, kind of wanted to figure out like where everybody was and what they were doing with the ReMarkable. And we know that, everybody's sort of at different areas. Some people may not have ever heard of ReMarkable, have no idea what it is. Some people may have one and are not really sure, how to use that device. And so we want to make sure that we're giving you a little bit of information about how you can use it. You can best use it for your practice. I want to give you some information about, what you might do with it and what exactly does it do, and some ideas for structuring notebooks and folders, because I know that's a big question that always comes up. And then talk a little bit about the templates, the custom templates, PDFs, ebooks, more. And then we're going to go in, we're going to try to do a little bit of a live demo of the actual, the device, because I can tell you this stuff all day long, but until you see it, it probably won't make as much sense. So we're going to try to pair this with, doing the presentation and doing a demo. And then we'll also have a Q&A section, but at any time during this, if you have a question, please feel free to interrupt and ask. I'm more than happy to answer your questions as you have them. Okay, so what exactly is the ReMarkable? Well, I will start off and I'm going to tell you what it's not. It is not a tablet. This is not an iPad. It's not a Samsung Note. It is a digital note-taking device. Basically, the way I try to explain it to people is it's basically a glorified notebook. That's really what it comes down to. The ReMarkable wasn't created to be able to access the internet. It wasn't created to be able to access your email or anything like that. It was created so that you could focus on the task at hand. So whether you were writing a story, or whether you're doodling, or whether you're reading, or whatever it is that you're working on at that moment, you're not being distracted by notifications for email, notifications from social media, and things like that you would get with your cell phone, an iPad, or even a laptop computer. So you can do things like note taking. You can use it as an e-reader. Some people use it to doodle, and also document annotation, which we will go into that in a little while. So some ideas for kind of integrating this product into your life. I'm on the Facebook group. There is a Facebook group for Remarkable users. There's some really valuable information and tools and tips and things that come out of that. Lots of times people have questions about, different things. That's where they go to ask other Remarkable users. And so just for my own purpose and research, I went in and I did a quick survey of the members to see what their top uses were for Remarkable. And so out of that group, the top 3 uses were, the first one was note taking, second one was for business meetings, the third one was for tasks and to-do lists. However, you can basically use this tool for really anything: journaling, digital planners, goal setting, brainstorming, project management, client files, client notes, you name it, you can do it. Home projects, all kinds of stuff. There are tons of different things that you can use this tool for. And it really depends on what your business is, what your personal life is, whatever it is that you're trying to integrate this into. It pretty much can be integrated in that manner. It's basically a notebook. It's just a different type of notebook is what I usually try to tell people. So whatever you can dream of, we can probably find a way to make it work for you. So a couple of things about the actual device itself. So this is sort of a little bit of an overall view of the actual structure of the Remarkable itself. So you have what are called notebooks. So if you look at the picture here, you see on mine, you see meeting notes, phone call notes, property tour notebook, prospecting notebook. Those are notebooks. And so if you think of them, it's basically individual notebooks. So if you had individual paper notebooks for every single one of these, that's basically what this represents on my Remarkable. And so, and as we go into some of the tips and ideas for how to structure the notebooks and the folders, the way that I have mine set up is basically I take the main activities that I do all the time. So meetings, phone calls, property tours, prospecting, and brainstorming. And I have those 5 notebooks as separate things because for me, every time the phone rings, I know that I have to go directly to my phone call notebook, open that up, and I start taking notes on my phone calls. I know every time that I go into a meeting, I have that meeting notebook set up and I go in there. So we can talk a little bit more about that in the structure part, but just to kind of give you an idea of the way that I have mine set up, I have all these different notebooks and this is on my main screen when I go into my Remarkable. So you can create individual notebooks. You can move notebooks around, and that means you can move them into separate folders. You can move them out of folders. You can email pages within notebooks to yourself or to others. You can convert your handwriting into text. You can move pages within a notebook. So if you have a notebook and you want to move this page in front of this page, you can do that. And you can also, again, move pages in and out of notebooks, and we can get into that in a little bit. There is a quick sheets function, which a lot of people get really confused about what the quick sheets is. And basically, really what that is a really quick place to take notes, easy access. Because if you look at the very top bar where you see folder, notebook, and quick sheets, if you get a phone call out of the middle of nowhere and you just need to find a place to take notes, if you hit that plus button on the quick sheets, that will actually add a brand new page into your actual quick sheets notebook. So if you look at my screen here where it says notes, that's my quick sheets notebook. It will add a brand new page into there and I can start taking notes right away. And then it'll save within that actual notebook everything that you just wrote down for that phone call. The question that usually comes up is can you delete quick sheets like the actual notebook, like the actual structured notebook? And no, you cannot. You can delete pages within, but you cannot actually physically delete the quick sheets notebook. Like on here, I could wipe out everything on my home screen, but I could not wipe out the quick sheets notebook because that's one thing that is actually built into the structure of Remarkable. It's always there. So you can also create folders and you can store notebooks within those folders. You can put PDFs and ebooks into those folders. You can move folders around. You can create subfolders within folders. And then also you have the ability to upload PDF documents. You can annotate PDFs and you can email them to yourself. So for me, the one thing that there's a couple of reasons why I love PDF documents, but for my job and what I do, particularly during times of COVID, where we had to have COVID waivers signed when we were going out to look at properties, instead of having to print out a sheet, give it to the party who was looking at the property to sign it, I could literally just bring it up on my Remarkable, have them sign it, and then when I get back to my office, I can email it to myself, email it to them, and it's really quick, simple, and painless. So that's one thing that I have really come to love about PDF documents, but there's also other things which we'll also get into here in a little while. And then lastly, there is a desktop and a mobile app that sync together and actually will be able to, you actually be able to access your notebooks and folders on that desktop and your mobile devices if you have that synced together. So for instance, if you took notes on a particular phone call, a meeting, or whatever it was, but you don't have your Remarkable with you, but you're out doing something and you couldn't remember who you were supposed to call or what you were supposed to do, you could actually bring that up on your phone. You could look at those notes right there on your phone and do whatever you need to do. Let me have a
quick question, Heather.
Sure.
I saw that Ruth asked, can you move quick sheets from one place to another notebook?
You can move individual pages, yes. You can move individual pages from quick sheets into other notebooks. And that is actually one of the things that I'll show you when we actually get into the live demo. You can do that, and it's a really, really nice feature.
Just real quick, on the desktop and mobile app, can we, so we looked at our phone, and if we wanted to add a page or not, do I have that functionality? Or no, I have to wait till I get back to Remarkable to do it.
Yes. So on your phone and on your mobile device, it's for viewing purposes only. You can't actually add additional pages in. You can import documents in. So from your desktop, if you have a PDF, that's where you would import that PDF into your Remarkable, but you can't actually physically go in and add new pages and do things like that.
Anybody else while she's catching her breath? Okay, go ahead.
All right, so some tips for structuring notebooks and folders. So this really, the structure and how you organize your Remarkable, it really is dependent upon what your, how you think logically. So some considerations, because again, this is just how I think and how I do things. But probably the biggest thing for you to think of right off the get, especially if you're using this for clients, for lots of different things, whether it's personal work or a combination of everything, you probably really want to consider your structure before you actually start creating a structure. And so it's kind of like if you've ever worked with a database, it's sort of the same concept where you're really considering your naming conventions for folders and documents only for the simple fact of being able to find them later on. So you can have thousands of pages of notes in here, and really when you're searching for a specific document, you're searching through your name. So you want to be able to, you want to make sure that you're naming them in a naming convention that is consistent throughout, so that you're finding everything that you need to find when you want to find it. So for me, because I perform a certain activities on a daily basis, like I said, meetings, phone calls, property tours, prospecting, and brainstorming, those 5 notebooks I have on my front page because they're things I do daily. And as I go through, so phone calls, we'll just start with phone calls. I might go an entire week just recording my phone call conversations, and then at the end of the week, I'll clear that notebook out. So I'll go into each individual page. I'll look at them. I'll say, okay, I don't need this, so I'm going to delete this page. Or I might say, okay, I want to keep this, but it needs to go into my CRM. So I'm going to email this page to my assistant so she can put it into my CRM. Or it might be that I don't need to really do anything with this except for I just want to store this in my client file. So I will move that page out of that notebook into a client file. So really, it's really about how you logically think. So if you are doing something like I am, where you're constantly on the phone, you're constantly in meetings, maybe you have a folder for clients, and then within each folder under your clients, you have them named by last name and then first name. Or it could be, for instance, for me, as you see here on the screen, from active listings for properties, I name them in a specific way for each individual property. So again, it really depends on what you're trying to accomplish. But really what you really need to think about is searching for that document later on. So if at some point you say, okay, I really need to find the client file, the phone conversation that I had with so-and-so, about whatever, You want to make sure that your naming convention allows you to be able to go back through and find that document pretty simply, if you're storing everything here on your Remarkable. So, and again, that's really up to you, because if you can store files here, or you can email them off to yourself and delete them off of your device. Or like, if you could keep them here for a time period and then delete them off your device. So consider what activities you perform on a daily basis. Consider your folder structure, your folder names and your subfolder names, what your naming conventions are, because that helps to increase your searchability. So just keep those couple things in mind. If anybody has any questions on that, I'm more than happy to help. I know that's a little bit of, it's kind of tough, but when I get into the demo, I can at least show you how I operate, just because it makes it a little bit easier to understand when you can actually see the device versus me trying to tell you over a presentation form anyways. A little bit about the custom templates, PDFs, ebooks, and other things. So ReMarkable has a whole set of templates that are on the machine when you buy it. You get, lots of different lines. There's task lists. There's tons of different things that come on the ReMarkable. You do have the ability to upload custom templates. So you have a template and you have a PDF. Template is a PNG file and a PDF is a PDF. So if you want an actual template, so the difference between the two, if you have a PDF is a static document, in that when you upload it to the device, whatever amount of pages are in that PDF are the pages that are going to be in that PDF. You can't add pages. You can't take pages away. You can only annotate and email and delete the PDF, but you can't add pages. You can't take pages away. An actual template file is a PNG file, and that is where you can continuously add page after page after page. Again, this is something I can show you when we actually get in and look at the device itself, but that is the big difference between an actual template file and a PDF, because I know that's a huge question that I get all the time. So in order to get a custom template that is a PNG file that you want to add as a real template to your device, you have to have a template installer. And there are a few on the market that are really good. There's one that I use from a company called InkPads. It's EINKPADS. And it's like $16.99, but it is probably the most simplest thing ever. You literally hook your ReMarkable up, you drag and drop your templates in, you name them and give some other information, and then it downloads into your device and then you can use it. A couple of things about them, though, that I will tell you if you decide that you're going to buy custom templates or if you're going to create your own custom templates. When you have them or when you get them, make sure that you save them in a file on your computer that you'll never forget what they are. And also save them with a name that will never have to be renamed. Because what will happen is every time that ReMarkable goes through and does a software update, it will wipe out all of your custom templates, not PDFs, the template files. It will wipe all of them out every single time it does an update. Now they do updates once every couple of months. It's not a lot, and it's not real painful to have to go back through and re-upload those templates as long as you have your template installer. But as long as you don't change the name, if you re-import the templates, you'll be fine. Like if you try to rename the templates and then re-import them back into the device, it'll show up with a blank background. So just save them in a file where you won't forget what they are. Keep the name the same all the time. So PDF documents, there's a ton of possibilities of things that you can do with PDFs. Like it's amazing now. So I actually have a planner that I use, as well as a couple of other things that I use that are PDF documents. And really, it's awesome because with some of the latest updates that ReMarkable did do, some navigation options like hyperlinks exist so that you can actually link from one part of the document to another part. There's a page overview that you can go in and look at all the pages that are within the document. And so long as the PDF is created correctly with bookmarks, you have a whole table of contents option that you can go in and do too. And again, that's something I can show you when we get into the demo itself. People use these as ebooks or for ebooks as a reader because it's just like the old the old Kindles where you could just read and stuff. But the great thing about this is that you have the ability to go in and highlight, You can take notes in the margins, lots of different things without ever actually messing up a real book. So a lot of people really love these for ebooks. And then I haven't actually tried this yet, so I can't really speak on it too much, but ReMarkable actually did create an extension for Chrome that allows you to go in and save web pages to your ReMarkable2. So if you are reading a newspaper article or there's something that has come up that you don't have time to read, you can actually save that particular article to your ReMarkable. And you do that by going up, you hit the extension, it'll come up, it'll capture that information, and it'll send it directly to your desktop application, which will then send it to your ReMarkable. So it's a really cool feature. I haven't had a chance to use it yet, but I've seen that other people have, and they really love that.
Heather, can you give me the name again of the template uploader that you like?
Sure, it's InkPads. It's EINKPADS.com.
EINK?
Yep.
EINKPAD.
S.com.
S.com.
Yep. All right. So Penny, if you want to switch over to my other one, we can go through and we can look at the actual device itself.
I have to take yours off. Kind of spotlight. I don't know whether you have to take it off of your, or make sure it's on or something.
Maybe I have to do it from here. I don't know.
Right now I can pin it, it says, but I can't spotlight it like I did you. Is your phone now on?
It's on.
I still see just your profile picture.
What about now?
Okay. Yeah, that works. Okay.
Okay.
Perfect.
So hopefully everybody can see this. We're going to try this out and see what happens. And hopefully you can all hear me okay. Can you, like, I'm not breaking up and weird or anything like that, right? Can everybody hear me?
You're
Okay.
good. You're good.
All right.
Yeah, we're fine.
Okay, so to kind of give you a little bit of a tour of the actual device itself, and hopefully everyone can see this. So this is my ReMarkable, and this is, you know, the structure in which I have put together for myself that seems to make the most sense for me and how I operate. But to give you a little bit of a quick tour, so here at the top you see you have menu, there's folder, notebook, quick sheets, and then you have your little search icon. Down below that, you have your files, and then you have your individual notebooks. So in our menu, you can actually come in here and you can filter by notebooks, you can filter by PDFs and ebooks. You can also see your favorites if you have any favorites marked. But the one thing I wanted to show you is actually in here in settings. So when you get your device, the one thing that you definitely want to make sure that you have set up is all of this general information. So you have the ability to connect to Wi-Fi, and you will need to have Wi-Fi connected if you are emailing things to yourself, if you are doing the conversion from handwriting to text. So you want to make sure that you're connected to Wi-Fi, at least while you're, you know, sitting at your house or in your office or whatever it is. So that's storage. I get a lot of questions about storage and disk space. So I will tell you that this has it has a pretty good amount of storage space. I'm a heavy user of my ReMarkable, and I still am not really touching the storage space of this. So I do go through and clean my stuff out once in a while, just because, you know, you get, it's just like a computer system. Everything, you know, files get old and you don't really need them anymore. But for the most part, like, I'm a heavy user, and I mean, you can see how much disk space I'm using now. So from that standpoint, you're probably pretty good when it comes to your storage space. Security, if you noticed when I turned my device on from sleep mode, I have a passcode. I love the idea of having a passcode, and if you want that passcode, you can do that by going into security and turning your passcode on, and then you have the ability to go in and put in whatever numerical passcode you want to put in there. But for me, from a security standpoint, because I do have client information in my device, because I'm also storing some very personal information in my device from a journal perspective, I definitely want to make sure that I have that passcode turned on. So I highly recommend that to everybody. You also have the ability to change the language. And then the other thing, if you're not aware, is the accessibility settings. So if you are left-handed or right-handed, that's how you would actually go in here and set this. There is a difference between the two. It's not a big difference, but it's basically where if you're in a document if you're right-handed, the menu will come up on your left side. If you are left-handed, it will come up on your right side. So, and then you can also have the ability to turn font from normal to large if you need that functionality. Okay, so what we're looking at here is this is my structure. So to kind of give you a little bit of information about just this general layout. So we talked a little bit about the ability to add folders, move folders, add notebooks and move notebooks. So the way that you do that for anything is that if you wanted to move this notebook to another folder, you press down on it until it turns black. And then up here in this bar, you will see you can favorite it, you can rename it, you can move it. That's how you move it to a different folder. You can duplicate it, or you can send it, or you can move it to the trash. If you move a document or a folder to trash, I believe it stays in your trash bin for 30 days until it goes away by itself. Or you can actually go in there and you can move it to trash or on your, like you can actually completely delete it off your device on your own. But if you move something to trash, it will stay there for, I believe, 30 days. So you have that. So if I want to move this notebook, I can come in here, I can press down on that. This will come up here. If I click move and say I want to move this to this folder, I click or I touch on that folder and I hit move here. And that will move that notebook to that folder. So you can also do this with individual pages, where we talked about the ability to go in and move different pages around. If I have this page and I want to move this somewhere, I come in and I can share it. I'm sorry, I go in here, I hold down on this, and you'll get basically that same menu bar up here where I want to move. I can move it out. And either I can click into a new notebook and add it to a new notebook, or I can move it into a folder and I can give it a brand new name and it'll actually save that page in a new folder. Okay. All right. So quick sheets, talking about quick sheets. So this, again, the quick sheets is meant to be that place where you go to take quick notes. So I get a phone call and I just need to go in really fast, or I just need to record some kind of a note really fast. If I click on the add quick sheets button here at the top, this will add a new page to my quick sheets notebook. And you can see down here where it says page 19 of 19. So that's, you can see it just adds new pages as you go on. So if I come in here, I can see all of the different pages that I had already had in my notebook to begin with. And I take my notes and then I can do with it what I want. Either I keep it there in that notebook or I move it out somewhere else. Let's see, what else? Adding, let's see. If you want to add a new notebook, you click add new notebook. You can come in here, you can give it whatever name that you want. If you noticed on my main screen, all of my notebooks have notebook covers because I'm a little OCD when it comes to that kind of stuff for some reason, and a lot of people like having the notebook covers. And you do that by either one, you can use page one to doodle up a fancy design, or you can use a cover page template, which is basically a template that's a cover page. You can set that as your page one, and then under notebook cover, you can see where it says last page visited or first page. And so you select first page, and that allows you to have those notebook covers already in place. So for me, if I'm going to click I'm going to click first page, and then I have a section in here for covers. And I'm going to say, I want this to be my cover notes. And so I will create that. And then this will be my note page from now on for that notebook until I change it to something. If I wanted to change it to something else, I could. So then if I don't want this one anymore, then I can actually take and I can move this guy to the trash. And now it's gone. A little bit about the within the individual pages themselves. So when you open up a document, you can see here on the sidebar, this is the sidebar I was talking about. If you're right-handed, it shows up on the right-hand side. If you're left-handed, or I'm sorry, it shows up on the left-hand side. If you're right-handed, it shows up on the right-hand side, sorry. So here you have the ability to choose your different writing styles. So you have ballpoint pen, fine liner, marker, pencil, mechanical pencil, paintbrush, highlighter, and calligraphy pen. You have the ability to choose your stroke thickness. You have the ability to erase in different manners. So if you have the ReMarkable2 and you have the, if you have the pen, oops, stop if I was writing right. If you have the pen has the eraser on the end that you can actually go through and you can erase. Or if you want to use the eraser function, you can either erase, with the tip of your pen, you can do a selection erase, or you can erase the entire page. And then if you're doing erase all, you're only erasing the page. You're not erasing the entire 19-page document, just the page that you're on right now. Sometimes I like to actually use the erase selection just because it really is nice to be able to just go in and say, I want that, gone, and then it goes away. All right, so next up is the selection tool. So the selection tool is really cool. So this is one of the things that makes this device so much more powerful than an actual notebook, because I don't know if any of you have ever done this, but I have tried to create things in a regular notebook where I was saying, I was trying to create squares or a certain shape or whatever it was, and trying to create that shape over and over and over again and have it look the same. It just doesn't work. So what this selection tool does is allows you to select, and then you can copy, and then you can paste. You can also move stuff around. You can resize it, or you can cut it. So from a task, if you think of this from a task list perspective, if I have 3 or 4 tasks on a task list that I didn't get to finish today, I could technically select those 3 tasks that I didn't get to finish today, and I could copy them and move them over to a new task list. If you're doodling and you want things to look uniform, you could doodle one small picture, and then you could actually go through and paste that a number of times and resize it and make it really cool looking. So I love the selection tool. It's probably one of my favorite things about this, again, because this is what makes it much more powerful than just a regular old notebook. So then you also have the ability to go forward and backward. So if you didn't like what you just did, you can hit the back button and it'll undo what you just did, or you can go forward and it'll redo what you just did. So you have that ability there. Okay, so down here at the bottom, these are kind of your extra tools that you have for doing different things within your document. You have what is called the page viewer, and this page viewer wasn't always here on the sidebar. This was actually something new that they moved out of a different menu, put it onto the main screen with their latest update, which I thought was the most brilliant idea that they could have came up with. But with the page viewer, you can actually go in and you can see all the pages within your document. And so you could say, okay, I want to see what's here. And so I can select whatever page I want to go to, and I can jump around and navigate the document that way. Again, from here, I have the ability to, okay, it's getting a little wild on me. I have the ability to then convert to text. I have the ability to send, add pages, to move this page out of here. I can either move it somewhere within the document itself or out to another notebook or to a different folder. And I can also duplicate pages. So if I have something that, I don't know, it could be something I doodled and I want to create a second doodle page, or if I have anything, it could be a task list. You know, if I have a task list and I want to duplicate that page, I could do, there's lots of different things that you would want to do with that. And then you can also delete these pages. So if you hit the delete button, it will permanently delete those pages from your book. There is a layering function, which I honestly, I don't use very much, but I know other people have, for particularly for when it comes to actual drawings or doing different things. So if you had a, think about if you had a, you know, I don't know, a bar graph of some sort, you know, maybe this is layer 1. Oops. And if I add a second layer, you know, layer 2 might be some kind of a trend line that looks, you know, like this. And then, I don't know, whatever it is. But now if I want to go in and say, I don't want to see layer 2 anymore, I can turn that off. And then layer 2 turns off and it goes back to your layer 1. So I'm sure there are lots of possibilities that you can use with this, but it's not something that I've gotten into use very much. But again, if you ever read some of the user reviews and how they use things, it's pretty cool actually what some people can actually do with this device. So within that same layer thing, you also have your template selection. So your template selection is basically, you know, everything on here that you have to utilize this device. So you have, it comes standard with all of these different templates. And then again, as you're adding custom templates, you have the ability to add custom templates in here. You can also add custom categories as well. So if I look into, or if I look at these, you can see there's tons and tons of different templates that you can use that are already stored on the device to begin with. So if you wanted to use, you know, a small margin, you could change that to be a small margin. Or if you have your custom templates, for instance, come here to you know, phone call notes. You know, this is the phone call notes page that I use all the time. So lots of different possibilities when it comes to, oops, what are you doing? Oh, I guess I have to turn it off. Okay, begin review. Lots of different possibilities when it comes to the template selection areas. So that is that. And then you also have the ability to, here, hi. Under the send function, you have the ability to send this by email. So if you are hooked to the Wi-Fi and you have a whole page of phone call notes and you really want this to be in your email, you would select send by email. You can come in here and you can see all of your recently used email addresses. So if I would use, you know, mine, you can add a message, you can set a file name, you can pick what pages you're exporting. So for instance, for this particular one, we're just exporting page 19, but you can come in here and you can edit this and you can select any number of pages that you want. So if I want to select all of these, I just hold down until they turn black. We're going to confirm it. And now you can see under here under export, it says page 17 to 19. And for the format, I'm going to pick PDF and then I'm going to send this to myself. And eventually what you'll see down here at the bottom, so long as I'm connected to my Wi-Fi, it'll come up and it'll say file sent, and then I'll eventually get it in my email. That's a really nice function to have because again, you know, we want to be able to, you can see file sent. We want to be able to have these notes and keep them, you know, whether we're storing them in a central file location on our computers, whether we're going to use them to email to a client to say, here's, you know, a follow-up on our notes, or whatever it is that we're going to do with these, we want to make sure that we have the access to be able to get them from the ReMarkable to wherever we need them to go. And then lastly, I'll show you this part. So
can you just clarify that this is not a standard template, your phone call thingy? That's one you've made, right?
That's correct.
Or that people can purchase from Heather or other companies that have them, but you won't find that in your standard templates like you do the lines or the dots or whatever.
Correct. Yes.
Just want to clarify.
Yeah. So the conversion to text, the conversion from text, to text is a really nice function. I will tell you, it is not the most accurate thing in the whole wide world. However, it's better than nothing. So if you're anything like me, I am not a typer. So if you send me an email asking me for something, you're probably going to get a 2-word email back. That's how I am. If I have to write any emails or any kind of reports or anything that require any level of like thought, I'm that person that has to write them out first, because I literally cannot type and think at the same time. It just doesn't work for me. So what I used to do, and it used to drive me crazy, was I would sit down and I would like really have to think about what I was writing. I would write it all out, and then I would have to type the whole thing back out, and then all this other stuff. It was horrible, like whatever. So when I found out that I could do the text, you know, the writing to text on this, I was pretty excited about it. But like I said, it does have some limitations to it, especially if you have fancy writing, or you like I tend to like do half like printed, half cursive writing. But I will show you anyways, you know, if we write, you know, hello. And if I come in here and then I want to, you know, convert text and send, this is going to come up and you can see, you know, hello, how are you? And then you can actually take this and you can send this out to your email address. And then if you were putting this into a document, you could go through and just edit what you have written. It is a nice functionality. And the other thing is if you have multiple pages. So again, if you're writing a report or you're writing and whatever it is that you're writing and you have multiple pages, you do have the ability to come in here and select all of the pages that you want to convert to text. Because if you don't do that, it's only going to convert the single page that you have selected. So that is that functionality. And then lastly, in here, you have notebook settings, and your notebook settings allow you to go in and specify if you have a notebook cover, what notebook cover you're going to be using, whether it's the last page or the first page. You have the ability to set the landscape view if this is a landscape template or if it's something that you want to be landscape. So if you set to landscape, it's actually going to move your toolbar down here to the side versus here on this side. And then you can also come in there and add new pages, but you also add new pages just by swiping over and adding a new page. So that is a little bit about those. And I think lastly, what I will show you is the functionality of PDFs when PDFs are hyperlinked, as well as the page overviews and some of the other navigation features of a PDF. So I'm just going to show you. So this is one I created for my store because I was actually kind of more curious than anything if people would actually buy something like this. Turns out people actually really like these things, so it's pretty cool. But what this is basically, it's a phone book. So for anybody, you know, from back in the day, you probably had a little black phone book that had phone numbers and you know, names and everything else in there. So that's exactly what this is. It's a contact log book. So if I come in here and I look on my second page, there's a quick links, and every one of these is a hyperlink that I can come into and say, I want to go to the C's. I click on the C, it takes me to the C's. If I want to go back home, I hit the home button and it takes me back to the quick links page, and I can keep on going back and forth that way. You also have the ability to see all of your different pages that are in the document. So again, you can scroll up and scroll down and you can navigate that way. But if a PDF is set up correctly and it has bookmarks in, you also have a table of contents feature here at the top. And that table of contents feature will show you every single section that's in that PDF. So for instance, with a planner might have a monthly calendar, you might have weekly calendars, you might have daily calendars or task lists or to-do lists, or whatever it is. And so long as it's set up correctly with the bookmarks in place, you'll be able to navigate this way. So if I really wanted to come in here and I wanted to see, you know, T, I could select T, and that's going to take me to the T location in this book. So if anybody else has any specific questions or things that they want me to answer, I'm more than happy to do so while I have this up. Can you add pages to a PDF and the links? You cannot add pages to PDFs. You can add pages for when you have, like, so here in your notebooks, I can continuously keep adding pages to this and add, oops, okay, hold on. I can continuously keep adding pages to this and changing the template. So every single page that I add to this notebook can be a different template. So here's one template. Sorry about that. I got a phone call in the middle of this. So you can add the second page, and this second page, you can come in here and say, I want to add this calligraphy page, you know, this is 2. And then I can keep on adding pages, and I can keep on changing those templates on and on and on. So long as it's a template that's stored within the device itself. And that is where you need that template installer. That's where you would need to add the ping. It's a PNG file. You would add those ping files into the device through a template installer, and that would make them available on here for you to use. Yes, you can add a page in the middle of a file. You can also move pages around if you're in here as well. So if I am, if I'm here and say, you know, I'm on page 18 of 22 and I want to add a page after here, I come down to this little square button here at the bottom and I hit new page, and that's going to add it as page 19 of 23. I can also go into this page overview and I can say, I want to take this and I want to move this before this guy. So I'm going to click here first. I'm going to hit move. Then I'm going to select this page and I'm going to say place before, and I can move that into the middle of the document.
When you do text, like if you're gonna send the text writing to text, do you lose the background? It's just gonna send the letters. It's not gonna send the background, the template, right?
That's correct. That's correct. And so the template file, that's to kind of add on to that. The template itself is a layer in the background, and that's the basic functionality of this device. It's a layered image in the background. And so if you email yourself a PDF with a template, with any template, it doesn't matter what template it is, you're gonna see, if you email yourself the PDF, you will actually see the template in the background. But if you're on your desktop device, you might not see a template actually loaded in the background, and that's because of the way that the system is designed. And it's actually a shortcoming, and I think it's something that they're working on because a lot of people have complaints about that. But so long as you are emailing yourself the PDF of whatever it is in here that you're working with, you'll see the template in the background. So if I would email myself a copy of the phone call notes, I would see phone call notes with all of my handwriting on top of it.
Because the PDF is like a snapshot of the whole thing. So it's,
yeah.
I have a quick question about storage, memory space. So I saw you only use about 1/3 of it, and you use your ReMarkable quite a bit. But if there was things I wanted to hold, like from 7 years ago, can you offload it and put it in like on my computer, and then it's still accessible? It's just not on the tablet, right? No,
correct.
Okay.
Yep.
And then I was wondering, can you talk a little bit more, like this is your, when you turn on your ReMarkable, this is your page, right? So you have your notebooks and then you have these files. So if I had 3 different notebooks I'm working with, I would create 3 different notebooks here. What about files? What is files like? Is that for projects, for categories of different, like how are you? Yeah, okay.
So I have files for the project. So I have active listings and I have active projects. So my active listings as a real estate professional is the buildings that I have listed. Active projects are people that I'm working with. So I have a buyer that is buying a building. And so that's how I have that folder structured. So if I would come into my active projects, you would literally see everything in here that I'm currently working on. I also have a folder for committees and boards. I have one for goals and planning, for networking, for personal use, and then for my little side hustle, the template creation shop. So the way that I have them set up is that if I, particularly for when it comes to real estate stuff, if I want to see anything that I have on any of my active listings, I go into that folder, and then within that folder, I have subfolders of each property that I'm working on. And so they're all named with a similar naming convention. So that way, if I ever needed to go back and really find it, say I had, I don't know if I'll ever do this, but say I had like this entire page full of properties. And so I might want to just go in here and search. I want to make sure that I have a similar naming convention for all of my files, so that way it's easier for me to come in here and find one. But if I were to go in here and look at, you know, each individual property that I'm working on, I will see all of the documents that I have stored within this file. So I might keep, you know, client notes in here. I might keep phone call notes. I might keep, if I have floor plans, like I'll have a floor plan in here with notes on it. So anything having to deal directly with that property or that client, that's what's stored in each of these individual folders. But for me, that seems to be what makes the most sense, is that, you know, I want to be able to find things pretty quickly. So I want to make sure that I'm, one, structuring them that it's logical for me to think about when I need to find something, but also two, that the naming conventions are similar. So that way, if I'm searching for something, I know about what to go look for. Does that answer your question?
Yes, but so in your notebook where it says meeting notes, and say you had a meeting yesterday or today that had to do with your active listing that is in that file, would you take that one page of notes and put it into that file folder?
I sure would. Yeah,
would,
so
okay.
actually I'll show you that, because I think I have one in here that, let's see, I actually have one in my phone call notes. Yeah, so this particular one, this is one that I need to put this out into one of my folders. So I have this phone call notes. I'm going to come in here to my overview. I'm going to select this page. I'm going to move this out, move out. I am going to go to my active projects, because that's where this is. And I'm going to put this in this folder. And so I already have, I have one started for phone calls and property tours. And I could put them in, like, I could select this and add to this. I could actually add that page to this notebook. Like, I could say move here, and it's going to move that into this folder or into this notebook already. Or if I really wanted to, I could have actually put that as a separate file out here in this folder.
Got it. Thank you.
Denise has a question.
Okay, so best practice, because I'm still just really new on this. I've had this since October, and it really, it's messing with my brain. Okay, so best practice would be to create a folder and name that, and then put a notebook underneath that folder or another folder, right?
So give me an example of how you, of your folders. Like,
okay, all right. So what I'm on the communications team, right? So I've got notes I want to put in there. So I've got that folder. Then do I create just a quick sheet underneath that folder? Because it's just basically notes that I'm taking for what we've talked about. And then I can just go in there and store it. They're all dated, so I can do that. And then I've got another one that is my meeting attendance, because I'm running a hybrid meeting. And so I have to keep track of the Polka Dot system doesn't allow us to keep track of who's in person and who is attending via Zoom. So I am doing that manually. So I have a meeting attendance folder, and then all I have done is created quick sheets underneath there. I don't really need a notebook, but number one, you already helped me figure this out. I was trying to figure out how I could delete them, because once a meeting is over with, I don't need that anymore. And here I had all these quick sheets in there, and I was from January, and I was trying to deal with them. So now I know how to delete those, which is good. Or should I be keeping that in a notebook and then adding a quick sheet in the notebook?
So yeah, so the quick sheets the quick sheets always lives here on your main page, no matter what. Like, so even if you're inside of a file, like, so if I'm in, here, and I select add quick sheets, that will always save under this quick sheets, which will always live right here on the front page. So that's one thing. So you can do that if you want to, if you're just going in and you're adding in, quick notes and then eventually going to be moving them out into folders or other notebooks or whatever it is. So you can do that. There's nothing wrong with that. I would say probably from your standpoint, what you're talking about there, I would actually have a notebook under those folders that you can go in and that's your notebook that's specific for meeting attendance, or that's your notebook that's specifically for your communications, committee or whatever it is. And then you can just continuously keep adding pages as you go, as you need them. So you could do it either way. Either way, it doesn't matter. But no, the quick sheet always lives here on this front screen.
Okay, so that is the reasoning why I was confused, and I was going in and trying to find these under when I show my meeting attendance, I go into that folder, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the meeting attendance, there's nothing in there because it's all under my quick sheets.
Yep, that's why.
So I could create a folder, create a notebook, because I've got the folder, I create a notebook, and then I can move those quick sheets into there to help me keep track of it right now, and then just move forward from there.
Yep.
Because I've just created horrible habits because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was just like, click, okay, it worked, I'll write it down, and I didn't know where I was putting it or how I was doing it. Yeah, so, okay, that's helpful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Jackie.
Yeah, so Heather, when you have like your phone call notes or meeting notes and you have takeaways of things that you need to do after, what's your mechanism to help capture that? Like, what's your logic, or what are you using to help make sure that you're not missing? That was something that I kept struggling with. Like, I would take notes, but then I would feel like I would have to move an action item to another list. And I was just really struggling with how can I accumulate and make sure I'm not missing something? Like, how do you work through something like that?
Okay. So the part of that methodology is part of the reason why I created the phone call templates and the note and the meeting notes templates that I did, because of that exact thing where you have a conversation with somebody and you're taking notes down, and there's always an action item most of the times that comes out of a phone call or out of a meeting that you need to do, or something that you don't want to forget. And so when all that information blends together, then it just kind of is what it is. So what I have done, the way that I work this is that with meeting notes, and I believe so this is a good one because this was from today. With the meeting notes template and with the phone call notes template that I have a section on here for action items. And so a lot of times either it's something that I just need to put onto a task list, or it's something that I could do relatively quickly. But once a week I try to go through and I try to clean out my meeting notes book and my phone call notes book, because a lot of times the reason why things are there are because I still need something to do with them. So a lot of times, like these action items, when they're called out on the side, I know that I have to do something with these. So it could be, again, that this is something that I just put onto my task list and do for another time, or it's something I can do pretty much right away, or there's something I can do with it before I move this meeting notes page out. So for instance, like with phone calls, like I will leave phone call pages in there until they're done. Like, so it might be that, for instance, let's see, and I know this is going to be really bad because this person called me back in April because they're looking for something specific. So I know that there's something that I still need to do with these, or like this, the same thing with all of these. And a lot of it's just because I need to get them in. That's really messy, but a lot of times it's just because I know that I need to get them into my database, or I need to do something. So I let them there until I do something with them.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So, okay. So you would leave stuff in those notebooks that are that's sitting. When you said you would move to a master task list, like how are you doing that? Are you copying and pasting? Are you retyping or rewriting something somewhere? Do you have a task list that's separate, that's included in one of your files or folders? Or I think I'm very task oriented, and I feel like a lot of things for me will come from a phone call or a meeting or whatever that I need to get to a master task list. And I wasn't sure the best way to transfer that information to help make sure I'm not missing something.
Yeah, you can copy and paste. You can copy and paste action items from one notebook to the other. I think my master task list is actually on my computer. So for me, a lot of times it's just putting this information from here into my CRM. So that way it does stay on my master task list.
Gotcha. Can you show what it would look like, how you would copy paste? Is that just?
Yeah, it should be, I mean, it should be, let's see. All right, we're just gonna do, yeah. So if this is test, if you do the selection, actually if this works, because I think you can do this, you do copy.
Oh, gotcha.
And I should be able to go in here and paste.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Is everybody doing okay on time? I have a couple more questions, so I'll stay if you guys want to stay.
I'm good as long as everybody else is.
Okay. Sue, did you have a question or was that?
I do. So Heather, piggybacking on Jackie, exact same thing. And you know how I'm using mine, so I don't need to necessarily get into it. So if I'm in the journal, and where I'm struggling is because the journal is 200 and some pages long and I love it, but I can't, I'm going to be honest, I wasn't even thinking about using the table of contents until just now. So now you've helped me with that. But so I have a task list for the week, and I know I have hyperlinks in there that I can run around, but with what you just showed, knowing how I think, if I did a cut and paste of maybe a task list that I put out there on Sunday, but I don't want to keep having to find it in my journal, I could just cut and paste that to a quick sheet so that I could just look at it every day of the week.
Yes, you could do that.
Just so that's at, like, I think that's what Jackie was saying too, because again, if I have to go to my journal and find it other than Sunday night when I'm preparing it, I'm not going to go find it. So I could just put it in my journal Sunday and then cut and paste it to a quick sheet or whatever, so that it's always on there when I sign on, and I can mark things off that way and make sure I'm hitting them.
Yes, you can do that. Yep.
Perfect. Okay, cool.
I would love to see a little more about how you, like, I want to buy some templates, but I've been waiting till we got the training. How do you get a template from whatever I buy from, let's say, your Etsy store? How do I get it in here? What's the process of that?
Sure.
You got to get the download tool, the whatever you call that tool.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, for that particular thing, because it does take a little bit of time. It's a little bit of a process, not terribly long, but I don't know how much I'm going to be able to actually show it on here. I have a video that I've actually created for some of my customers, because this is a very typical question that I get. I am more than happy to send that to you through your email. So if you guys want to put your emails in, I am more than happy to send you additional information on that, because it's a really simple process of, there's a desktop app from, I use InkPads. So there's a desktop app from InkPads that you open up. You take your file from your computer and you basically drag and drop it into the device, or into the, oh my goodness, what is it? Into the app itself. And then on the app, you go through and you set it, and then it actually uploads directly into your device. So I have that video. I can share that. I'm more than happy to share that with you.
So what if you put that into the event? Will the event stay live, that we can communicate still in the event? Or I could put a group email together and send it to everybody, because I think that would be, if they don't want it, they don't have to watch it, right? But I think that would be good to get to everybody somehow.
Well, what we could do. What we could do is, I can share my PDF, or the PDF version of my slideshow, and then actually, because the links are actually on it's a Google link, so I can share the links to the videos in that also. If everybody wants that, we can definitely get it out that way too.
Okay. So yeah, and because I had everybody put their contact in here anyway, so I don't know what we'll do with that, but that way we could communicate with them. And then somebody asked for how to find your Etsy store, or how they wanted to know about that.
I have the link in the slideshow, so I will get to that in a hot second.
Because you can put it in the chat as well if you want, and then if you save the chat, they would have access to that now. No, it wasn't real fine, so.
I'll give it to you right now.
I'll get the video to everybody, you guys. We'll just make sure that that's included. So Any other questions you guys have that you can just unmute yourself and ask? You all feel really productive now and you're gonna go be really organized?
I hope so.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think part of, and Heather knows my background too, I've had a Remarkable for quite some time, but just haven't used it because I think Denise, similar to you, like where I've not felt as organized with it to make it efficient to use. And I think just seeing this and seeing an actual demo really gets me thinking about, okay, how can I use this better and actually use it? Because I stopped using it for a long time. I got back to paper and then it kind of resurfaced. And I think just seeing the demo and really thinking through things a little bit differently will help me to get back on it. And I think the templates are really going to be key as well. So I'm kind of excited to jump into that.
Yeah, I agree. And, you know, I'm an old dog and I fell back into the old ways very quickly. Just by, well, I'm writing it here. When I took notes today, I grabbed a sheet, right? And it's like, oh, I just can't. And I was a paper and folder girl. So now I have to take that visual of, you know, putting it in folders like this to putting it in folders on here. So that's a whole brain shift for me. So this and being able to visualize it and see it, that was so helpful. So helpful.
I'm lucky enough to be local with Jackie, and I've actually sat with Heather. And so first of all, I want to give kudos, not that she needs it, because I think you all just realize how valuable she is. But she, you know, the video that you will all get, I'm at home on a Sunday night. She's sending me the video through Messenger, and like I didn't even know how to drag a folder on my laptop, and she's like making sure I knew everything to do. I'm like, Heather, I have no idea what you're telling me right now. So the video's phenomenal. Once you get it uploaded, you won't even have to think about it. But yeah, I feel I've only had mine 2 months. It's all I take anywhere. It's all I take. I don't carry a bag anymore, nothing. It's all I take. So thank you.
So Karen had a question, and I just scrolled up and I found it. So she asked, will previously used templates be dropped out of all of your pages when the update dump occurs? So the short answer is yes, they will. However, that's why you don't change the names on your templates. So when you have a template, a custom template, you save it in a file with a name that will never change. So all you will have to do if an update occurs is you go back into your template installer, you upload that template, it will download into your device. And so long as that name stays the same, it will put it back to where it belongs in all of your different notebooks and files. I have made that mistake. I've made that very painful mistake in the past. So I try to share that with everybody. So whenever you have custom templates, make sure you save them with a name that will never change. So that way
If it's one,
you don't have that issue.
All one.
Okay. And does Remarkable have any other additional templates other than what's in the Remarkable already? They haven't added any more. There isn't a template store where they're okay.
No,
where it would automatically update.
Once in a while, when they do new updates, they do add new things. But for the most part, they've stayed relatively the same. And there are other shops besides mine that do create templates and like different things for the Remarkable. And even if you get onto like the Remarkable user group, there's a lot of times where people go in there and they share different templates and stuff that they've created. So there's lots of there's options out there if you want to find something. There's a couple other shops on Etsy that are my competitors that do fantastic jobs, and they have really great products and they all have really great reviews. Their customer service is fantastic. So I highly recommend, if you're going to look for something, go to Etsy and check it out. Even if you're not buying from me and you're buying from one of my competitors, you're still going to get a good product.
And then do you create, if I have a request, would you create that? Okay.
Yep, I can do that.
And you'll see that on her Etsy store.
Okay.
Because actually one of the things I did was after I looked at Heather's store, then I went and looked at other stores. Then I came back to Heather and said, hey, this gave me an idea. Could you do, like menu something for my, I I think she has one for meals, but I'm like, I just need dinner and I need the shopping. And so whatever she makes, then she can utilize for other people unless it's really custom to my business or something like that. But and they're super reasonable, Heather. I think that really makes it like, you know, get what you need. Somebody said they bought your business pack or something like that and had used it. So and I think you even have an option on there where you kind of you can pick 5 of your favorites for one price versus having to buy things you weren't going to use. So I love that feature.
Yeah, there's in my store. I mean, it's funny because when I first started this out, I think I started with 8 listings. I started my shop in December. I started out with 8 listings and really like over the time period, really learned that I actually really love creating these templates. It's just fun to me. And so now I'm up to 90 some listings. And I have like there's like 50 plus different single templates that you could go in and you could bundle on your own. So there's a $5 option, there's a $7 option, and a $10 option. So yeah, it's there.
Any other questions, you guys, before we wrap up? I'm so glad so many people
awesome.
came.
Thank you. It just started to like click and make sense.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
Thank you. And thank you, Penny, for making this happen. Absolutely.
You're welcome. I figured if I had questions, somebody else would. So just utilize her time well. Oh, and Heather and I just realized yesterday they do have an affiliate link. I think everybody who's here has one, but you can sign up for an affiliate link if you want to share your link or if you don't have one. I signed up for a link and I think Heather was going to sign up for one as well, that you get $40 off of if you're going to buy one, and the person who shares their link gets $40. So it's pretty lucrative affiliate link, I think, compared to others that I've done. So if anybody does not have one, reach out to Heather or I to get our link if you're now interested in buying one, or if you know other people that might want one. I love mine, and this was really helpful to me to kind of figure out. I think I just realized I did overkill. Like I have a file for each client. I really only need a folder, you know, because I pretty much just need each client's notes in their own notebook, basically, or I just need a notebook for each client. I don't really need, I got too many layers, I think. So after today, I'm going to go reorganize so that they're easier access, because now I'm having to hit three steps down to get to where I want to keep notes, where really I only needed a notebook, I think. So yeah, it's great to hear how somebody else thinks and organizes, because that was super helpful. So
yeah, I mean, it sounds kind of funny when you say it, like, you know, you have to plan out the way that you are storing things, but it's literally the same thing if you're working on, if you have a computer storage system, if you have a database system, it's all the same. You just have to sit down and think, because it's all about searchability. That's the key. The key is being able to go back and find what you did. So if you have at least a good plan in place for naming conventions, how you do things, at least makes it easier when you are trying to re-navigate your thought process, you know, instead of being like, okay, so when did I talk to that person? What did I do? Oh man, I can't remember. So that's kind of that's sort of the thought process behind that.
So you would say, like, if for me, I would say Smith dot date dot something, so that you can search anything that says Smith, or for you, it might be an address or a city or something like that. And you use
Right.
that always as your, I forget what you called it, but your format basically of how you label.
Yes. Yeah, because I mean,
Okay.
if you think of an address could be like 123 East Main Street. It could be 123 E Main ST. And there's like 1,000 different variations that if you are not naming it the same way every single time, you end up duplicating the process, and or you end up not being able to find it when you need it.
Yeah. Tina, did that answer? You can unmute if you, I'm not quite sure what you're asking.
Oh, I thought you had asked or said we could be an affiliate for ReMarkable, and I was just wondering where you had seen that link.
They
Got
should
an
have
email
emailed.
yet.
Yeah, I should have emailed you.
Yeah.
Well, I probably deleted it long ago. Or is that something new?
Yeah, I can forward it if you want. And then
Yeah, that would
it
be
was a
cool.
process to, because I figured, you know, when you love something, you're going to tell somebody about it anyway.
Yeah, I do. And I've had people that have bought it since I've told them about it. So
So it's just something like yesterday or the day before I just saw it come through. So it might be a brand new thing.
okay.
Or just go on their website, go on the ReMarkable. It sounds like Sue maybe saw it on their website too.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
but yeah,
Thank you.
sure. All right. Well, I think we're done. I'm going to quit recording if nobody else says anything really brilliant. So thank you, Heather, for all your time and for your gift to us. And, you know, if you didn't put your Etsy store in here, put it in the group, but
I did put it.
hopefully-
I did put it in here, but I will make sure. Like I said, I will make sure that everybody gets the PowerPoint, that put their email in, and I will put the link in for my contact information is in there. I will put the link in for those videos, and then yeah. Any other questions? If you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm always happy to help where I can. Most of the time, I have a lot of questions that get asked all the time, and it's usually the same thing. So I generally can get you an answer really darn quick.
Right. Perfect. Okay.